Alright, here is the ridge beam. It's up. Well, it's up for the moment. Got it braced that way, and there's another brace going up diagonally to the other beam where the ridge goes up. So we braced it, got the posts plumb in both directions, and now we're going to start putting the rafters on, I assume. But I've got my friend Greg here helping. I don't think I could have done this without him. This is very difficult. Definitely at least a two-person job. Alright, here are the rafters or roof joists, or whatever you want to call them. These are the guys that sit on that make up your roof. Plywood sits on top of that, and your shingles sit on top of those. And I've got almost all of them cut. I got one to go here. I just wanted to show you how I am cutting these and what the anatomy of them is. So you'll see one of them is already up. And so what I did is I calculated what the measurement should be. And then I went off of that, and I got this piece of wood that I kept hacking up, because my calculations were for a perfect world with a perfect structure, and this is not one of those. And then I started doubting myself. Maybe it's not the right angle, blah blah blah. Anyway, I eventually came up with a master that actually worked, and that's what all these are based off of. So you'll see the cuts here. There's the cut for the ridge, and so that's at the angle that you want. So, you know, from this angle right here is your angle of your roof that you're going to want. For mine it was 37 degrees. It's close to a 10 and 12 pitch, but not quite. It's probably somewhere in between. And so that's for the ridge. And you go back down here, and there is a cut for the bird's mouth. And you'll notice the bird's mouth is, so this line right here is the same angle as your ridge cut over there, or your plumb cut, as some people call it. So you've got your plumb cut here, which when this rafter is up on the roof, it will be plumb, you know, straight up and down. And this cut over here is the seat cut, because it's the seat of the bird's mouth. That's where this thing sits. So this part right here is going to sit on top of your wall. And I did mine for 2.5 inches, just because that's like the leaves this much of the board, which is roughly following the 2/3 rule of cutting birds' mouths. And this is a right angle, because your wall is a right angle. So since this is your plumb line, you just take a framing square, or something that's square, something with measurements that can show you that this is going to be the desired length you want on your seat cut, and then you just make a right angle. And over here is the overhang, and that is also a plumb line. So when this rafter is sitting up there, this will be straight up and down, that cut will be straight up and down, and all the way down there will be straight up and down up at the ridge. So that is the anatomy of my rafter. To figure out exactly where you need to cut this, you need to do some calculations, and then trial and error. I did more trial and error than calculations, but my calculations were close. I was just a little bit off. Anyways, so I've got one of those up, got one of these left to cut, and I've got all these that are already cut and ready to go up. So then I just nail them up there on my ridge beam and tack them down over there for now. I'll be putting hurricane ties on there too. So that's the update for the ridge rafters, or the rafters for the roof. Now we have the rafters put up in place, all the bird mouths cut out, and we've got the fascia board there on the end. So the way that I did this, and I had a friend helping, definitely couldn't have done this. It's very hard to do this by yourself. So at least have 2 people do this, because if you got some structure this big, it's very difficult to get those rafters up there in the right spots. But just cut everything on the lines. Then after I wasted a bunch of wood, see that wood over there? That's wood that I wasted because I was a little cut happy. And if you look inside the shed, there's some more wood that was wasted. So make sure you get your measurements right, because I had the measurements for the right side over here, and so I thought, oh, it should be symmetrical over here, but it was slightly different. And so the rafters that worked over here did not work over here. So I had to redo all the cuts for those. That was annoying, but I learned a valuable lesson. Anyway, so all those rafters are up there, nailed in at the top, and they're toe nailed in on the where they meet the wall. Just for right now, they'll have hurricane ties, and then they're nailed into the fascia board here, which spans the whole length. That's 14 feet, and I'm going to be using this rafter over here as the base to put the trim for the fascia. So that's good. Take a look around here. Let's see. So found out that if the tops are a little high, that's okay, because you can knock those down. But if they're a little low, then that's bad. So and what I mean by the tops, like right up there where they meet the ridge board, the ridge beam. So get those a little higher than a little lower, and you should be okay. And when we put the fascia on, that was also, all of these boards weren't exactly in the right spot. So we marked a chalk line across all the rafters, then cut them straight up so they'd all be, used a level to make the line plumb, and then cut those to the right length, so that we have a straight fascia board there, and a straight fascia board there. Lovely. What else am I going to do? I need to put glue up at the top where the rafters meet the ridge beam, because probably can't see it here, there's a little gap, because I couldn't get it perfect. I wanted to get it perfect, but I couldn't. So glue will suffice to handle the gap. So what I'm going to work on now is, back up, you'll see this, triangle here. Well, there needs to be a wall. The wall needs to keep going up until the roof. So I'm going to put the beams, or the studs that go up and complete that triangle. So then you can put what's that stuff called? Sheathing on the sides. So that's what's going on right now. So I'm going to work on that, and then I'm hoping to get some sheathing up on the roof. That'll be exciting. Roof will be well underway to being done.